And if you're wondering why there's a moss block here and how we're going to get items through it, there's actually a minecart inside the moss block, which is then going to suck things down to the hoppers below. And with each of the moss blocks, well, except this one and that one, having sniffer eggs, I think that's good enough for now. But now that we got the sniffers that are now sniffing the pitcher pods as well as the torchflower seeds, it's time to go ahead and start making more and more of those flowers. What up, my roomies, and welcome back to the technical guide to Minecraft. And we're back over at the sniffer farm. I've been AFKing here for quite a long time, and as you can see, there's a lot of sniffers in that area now, so any chance of it being even slightly humane has been tossed way out the window. But it's fine, because now they keep each other warm. Granted, we're in the nether, so they're already pretty hot, but just try not to think about it. As a result of all of our AFK, when you go see inside my inventory, we actually have 4 shulker boxes worth of both torchflower seeds as well as pitcher pods. And these seeds will be able to grow into their flower counterparts, which those flowers can then be used to make more dyes, hence why we're here. But torchflowers and pitcher plants are unique in that you can't actually reproduce them with their flower form. You have to use sniffers. And their growing mechanics in order to become their flower forms is a little unique as well. But to understand this, welcome to KiguCorp, where safety is a concern. So in my hand, I have a regular poppy flower, and regular poppy flowers can exist on both farmland as well as grass, or dirt, or any solid block that can hold plants. But unlike regular flowers, torchflower seeds as well as pitcher pods cannot go on grass and must go on farmland. Which brings us to the next point: how are we going to grow these in a pretty fast and quantifiable level? Well, the first problem is that even if we were to grow a pitcher pod or a torchflower seed via bone meal, we can't harvest it with just a piston, or rather, not by itself. If the piston head were to go over the farmland, it'll turn into regular dirt. Let me show you. So let's activate this piston. And as you can see, the farmland is no longer farmland and it just turns into regular dirt, which is going to be problematic for us because that means we won't be able to use this more than once. But there is a way to keep the farmland while also harvesting the pitcher plants as well as the torchflowers. By using a sticky piston and a fence gate, the fence gate can go over the farmland without it turning back into regular dirt. And so, if you put down a torchflower or a pitcher pod, we can then harvest it without having to turn the dirt back into farmland and it just remaining its farmland status. Thus, all we have to do now is of course attach a bone meal repeater unit to this thing in order for the torchflowers and the pitcher pods to grow into their adult forms. And so, in order to ensure that the pitcher pod or the torchflower seeds can grow into the maturity, we're going to have 2 dispensers dispensing bone meal in alternating fashion. So this one goes, and then this one goes, and this one goes, and so on and so forth, in order to ensure that both the pitcher pods as well as the torchflower seeds can grow into max level before the sticky piston can extend and using the fence gate to then harvest the farmland. And the cool thing about farmland is that, well, as you can see, it's not a full block. And as you know, it can have items get sucked through into a hopper below. And so, by combining the hopper and the farmland underneath, and having a repeater unit sending pulses that can then power dispensers alternatingly because of the different amount of observers that are in front, we can just plonk down a pitcher pod or torchflower and it grow to its maximum size. Having everything combined, we could see that the torchflower or the pitcher pods can grow into their adult size without any real danger of it being harvested beforehand. It's all really that simple. If you want to play around with this, it's going to be a world download and a schematic in the description below. And with that in mind, let's head back to the technical guide world and get to it. Quick interruption. I noticed that only 12% of you are actually subscribed to this channel. Watching this long, I must be doing something right, so if you like this video, hit that like button and please subscribe to this channel. Any support helps and these videos take a bit long to make. Thank you so much and back to the video. Okay, with all that out of the way, I believe the shulker box has everything that we're going to need for this build. And we're going to have to tackle a unique problem because since we're in the nether, there's no sunlight. And so we have to create a way for the light to actually be there whenever we're trying to grow these plants. Because without light, we won't be able to plant these seeds. And without these seeds, we won't be able to get these flowers. And so I'm going to have to design a way on the spot in order to have the light turn on whenever we're using the farm and turn off whenever we're not. And so yeah, let's get into the build. Alright, so the hardest thing about this build, as you probably saw, was probably moving this mangrove root into place without it losing its waterlogged status. And if you're wondering how we got water in the nether, well, you can see it in the previous episode in the top right of the corner. But as you can see, during the build, we put a redstone lamp in there, which will activate when we turn on the farm. So if you go out here and pull this lever, you'll see that this turns on, and you can see that the fence gate is going back and forth in sequence. Now all we gotta do is go down to our storage center, grab a couple of shulker boxes worth of bone meal, take this up instead of flying, load up our bone meal input right up here, just so we can fill up the dispensers. And I should note that this trapdoor is nothing more than just aesthetic. For some reason, like, the exposed hopper was bothering me, so I just added in the warp trapdoor there just to kind of cover it up. And after a few minutes, once the dispensers are full up on bone meal, we're going to turn on the system and start feeding in pitcher pods and torchflower seeds. After some time, we got one shulker box worth of torchflowers and one shulker box worth of pitcher plants. And I'm just going to replace this real quick. And just for the sake of example, we'll take one of both just to show you that we can make ourselves dyes. And a pitcher plant can make 2 cyan dye, while a torchflower can make an orange dye. As for these, I'm going to leave these up for my server mates because maybe some of them might have a use for them. Maybe someone might want to make a sniffer farm of their own. And so I'm just going to keep these here just in case. Maybe process one of each more. Besides that, I'm going to keep the rest of it. But we won't be using these for dye. I just wanted to show you that the option was there. What we're going to be using, however, is the primary colors in order to get every single dye in Minecraft.